Hello, everybody. I am Haley Gray, and I'm excited to be here today with one of my dear friends, Jennifer Jayne. And this is an exciting time because Jennifer has her own business, but she also works with me on some of the very things that she specializes in doing. So, y'all should reach out to her, talk to her, and get to know her a little better. Jennifer Jayne is a business strategist with AI systems expert who helps female entrepreneurs simplify their marketing, streamline their operations, and build businesses that actually support their lives. Novel concept. She's the founder of the Fempreneur Collective and known for turning chaos into clarity with smart strategy, repeatable systems, and just the right amount of self.
Hello,
Welcome, Jennifer.
hello. Hi, hi. I'm actively giving my dogs treats because they're being butts right now and barking while we're trying to record. But hello.
And I may be doing the same thing here
Yes.
because my dogs may decide to yell at the
The worst
house
possible
cleaner
moment.
at the worst possible moment. I have a
Yeah.
coon hound, and she, let me tell you, I have a coon hound without telling you I have a coon hound. You'll
Yeah.
hear the scream and you'll know.
Yeah. That's just one of the joys of being a work from home, self-employed magic maker that we both are.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really professional behind me, and I assure you that for the most part, it really is. And we get a lot done. But we also have the crazy ass dogs running in the background and doing the whole thing. And right on cue, there she
Right on
is.
cue. Right on cue. Yeah. It's part of
This
it's
is
part of our lives.
Amethyst Alexandra.
But I think this is a great way to introduce the conversation around like why you should have systems, automations, content machines in your business because life happens, things go sideways. You're trying to record a podcast, you have to start over 5 times. Not that we don't care. We're running with it. But like life happens and things get challenging and there's seasons of life taking over business or business taking over life. And it shouldn't be that way because you should have systems and automations and machines working inside of your business that just make things easier. Work smarter, not harder, right?
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I think that one of the things people are terrified with AI, oh, I can have AI, or AI is going to take my job, or I won't have a virtual assistant business, or I won't have this business, or nobody's going to hire me for blah, blah, blah. And the reality is, AI is a phenomenal productivity booster, but it hallucinates. It goes off in left field, it goes off on a tangent. And, GPT-5, right, this week as it's gotten rolled out, has been completely delusional.
Yeah.
It works some of the time, and sometimes it just, I don't know what
Yeah.
it's been smoking, but I might need some of that.
Well, and it's funny that you bring up the whole AI is going to replace me. It's going to replace maybe some of what you do because it can do it faster, but that just means you have to be an expert. Like you have to really
Yeah.
own your expertise around what you do and how you serve. But at the same time, right? Like we as a
Mhm.
society, as women entrepreneurs, as consumers, we're still distrustful, we're still a little nervous about all of those things. So like having human eyeballs on the work that you're letting the AI do for you is still very, very important. So
Right.
it's replacing some of the busy work that we're doing, but it will never replace the value of a human giving you human perspective.
Right. And here's the thing about AI, it cannot ultimately be as wildly creative as a human can because it can only take from the database of things that it knows in the known universe.
Yeah.
So it's really good at mining for data or showing you maybe how to do things. But like when it comes to like the ultimate strategy, it doesn't like really understand your DNA. It doesn't understand how you run your business. It doesn't understand the right decision for you at this point in time because it can't keep track of the fact that you've got, X, Y, or Z going on in your life. And
Yeah.
so it can't account for human variance, really.
Yeah.
And that difference in humans, to that extent, because AI is not fundamentally it's not intelligent.
Right.
It's a
It
language learning model.
it can only work with the materials it has, right? It can only work with the ingredients, the recipe, whatever, right? Like you have to feed it the data it needs to be able to even come close to
Right.
mimicking you. Now, I've trained my AI tools, and one of the things that I do, of the myriad of things I do, is I help other people train their AI tools to replicate
Right.
them very closely, right? I can get 95% of the way most of the time without having
Yeah,
to,
absolutely.
with the
It's
right
a
prompt.
huge,
Yeah, with the right prompt and the right foundation, it takes off a lot of like the thinky work of creating whatever I'm creating. It
right.
also knows more about things than I do, right? Like in some areas, right? It has access to information that as like a strategist, it can compute and compile things that I would never think to compute and compile. So it can be very useful to kind of yes and in our business, but it's not the be
Mhm.
all end all in our business.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Like you can say, give me a list of 100 conversation starters, but it currently is not capable of then turning those into graphics. It is not currently capable of really starting and having intelligent conversations with you. It can be an order taker,
Yeah.
which is great. Like, hey, can I get your phone number? Hey, can I get your address? Hey, can I get your zip code? And if you follow the script, sort of, it'll kind of keep up with you. But, if you're like, hey, do you handle this arcane problem that might be related to something in your field? It's not really going to be able to answer that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's what you teach it and then how you use it dictates the results you get. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Garbage in,
kind of a
garbage out.
personal journey, right? Like it's a little bit of an evolution. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's cracking me up right now because I'm seeing all of these business coaches like learn how I create my own AI twin, and they're like switching into like teaching AI because they figured out how to use it well for themselves. And it cracks me up a little bit because like they're building
I'm
the next
laughing.
phase of their business on like being this like AI expert, but they've only been using it for the same amount of time as everyone else. And they don't, I mean, I'm not taking their courses by any means, but like they don't know anything more than the rest of us because it's all trial and error. And maybe they just have more time and bandwidth to spend with
Mm-hmm.
fafoing with the AI. But like you can get there. You don't need to go buy an expensive AI course. You just need to come at it with a strategy. And that's one of the things I like helping my clients develop is a strategy around where
Mm-hmm.
does AI fit in the business? Where are we adding automations? Like what systems are missing? What are the holes in your business where you could be making money or where you could be making more money more easily? And AI fits
Right.
into some of those gaps, but it doesn't solve the revenue problem. It doesn't solve the revenue problem.
Right. No, it doesn't. And the reality is, at the end of the day, like the algorithms, like on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, can detect AI generated content. Humans can detect AI generated content if you're not really careful with it, if you're not editing it and you're not training it. If you're just throwing stuff in, you're going to garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
So you have to train it and feed it a ton of data to even begin to approximate what you're looking for to get it trained to the level that you need it trained for.
Yeah. Yeah. And that takes time, right? Like it is an
It
investment
does.
in if you want to go fast, go slow, right? If you want to go
Mhm.
fast, go slow. And though that foundation at the beginning of making sure that you've got it knows your core values, it knows the framework of your business, it knows
Yeah.
personal sillinesses about you, right? Like that's what makes that content feel human. My I call her bestie. Unless she's being a problem, then I call her bitch. And she knows it. We've had this conversation. She knows she's in trouble when I drop the B word. But like when I am working
Bestie?
with Bestie, like I taught her all of the basics of who I am. She knows that I love coffee, but I've been trying to drink more tea. She knows that Supernatural and Gilmore Girls are my two favorite TV shows of all times, and I will watch them on repeat my like all of the time. They're just on in the background when I'm working. She knows that I have a tiny little senior chihuahua and and a young golden retriever rescue that I'm on my way to Alberta. But she knows my goals, she knows my hopes, she knows my dreams because I've taught her
Right.
these things. I've had her ask
Right.
me questions. She knows how to prompt me for journaling when I'm looking for journaling prompts because I've taken the
It
time,
worked with it.
yeah, and really invested in this it's like training the ultimate personal assistant. They can't
Right.
be the best, most amazing executive assistant if they don't know your coffee order, right? If you have to tell them every single time what your coffee order is, that's going to get old real quick. So they got to pick up
Right.
these
And you
things and
have
they
to
got to
say,
remember
remember
them.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
it's about training and giving it the basics and letting it really understand things, and then using it to fill in where there's gaps in your systems and in your automations.
right. Well, and it's really helpful to help you find the gaps, because like one of the things you can do on ChatGPT or any of the platforms is say, hey, given all of the conversations we've had so far, what am I potentially missing?
Yeah.
And it'll come back and it'll give you a laundry list. And sometimes it is wildly accurate. And sometimes it really does help you identify the gaps. And some of the stuff you're going to look at it and go, not so much, because it'll look at me and go, yeah, you're too much of a perfectionist. And I go, actually, not as much as you think.
I'm
I mean,
just enough of a perfectionist.
yeah, I strive for excellence, but there's a difference between excellence and perfectionism. And sometimes and it's like, you do this. And I'm like, not so much. So you do have to like basically wisdom check it and throw your wisdom check and, hopefully you roll well. But you also need to make sure that you are, training it and
Yeah.
teaching it and doing the things. It's like a human. You can't bring somebody in new out of college and expect them to do a senior developer piece of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Having those conversations, the back and forth. I love telling it to ask me questions. And I often prompt it to ask me new and unique questions it's never asked me before, because it makes me think differently, right? Like whether it's giving it new personal information about a phase of or season of my life, or I want to create some personal content that resonates, or just
Right.
for me, creating content with AI it's just a faster way to get what's in my head out and consumable. But so I like to like mix in like really silly personal, like make you laugh, grab your attention, color blocks on Facebook with thought-provoking, I'm an expert, here's how I do my job content when I'm marketing myself. And I do the same for clients, but like it can only do that if I'm asking it the right questions. And that's half the battle, is asking it the right questions and then making sure it has the right data. But part of asking it the right questions is telling it not to be flattering and telling it to not like coddle you. You want straight truth. You want facts.
And don't hallucinate. Don't draw random information from the internet. Don't do these
You're
things.
not
You
allowed
have
to
to
make
do,
assumptions.
here's your boundaries.
Yeah. Don't make assumptions. Use the data you have, use what you know about me. Those are all really good phrases to insert to get more accurate responses. And then you can take that and plug it into your systems and create what you need out of it. But it's just a tool. And if you're trying to use a shoe to hammer a nail into a wall for a picture, can it do the job? Eventually. Might you ruin your Louboutin? Probably. But like the nail will be in the wall. Or you could go grab a hammer and deliver a precision strike and have your nail in the wall and secured for your painting way faster and with better precision. The way we use our tools matters. The way we use our expertise matters. The way we show up and teach the AI and then instruct and pull from the AI matters. And if you can
100%.
invest the time in learning how to like get out what you want efficiently, you're going to be way farther ahead than most people.
Right. Well, and I feel like, we're at a point right now where things are shifting so fast. I mean, I've been in technology my entire career. So being a software engineer, we used to see it like every 3 to 4 years, everything got replaced. And then it was every 1 to 2. Now we're looking at, complete revolutions in technology happening in 90 days.
Yeah.
Or less. And I think it's only going to accelerate. And the reality here is that, it is a bit of a bandwagon. It is a bit of a carousel. It is a bit of a carnival ride. And we are hopping on and riding and grabbing for dear life to some extent. And, it's time to kind of learn new skills and learn a new skill set. It's like, when the desktop PC became a thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember, Windows 95. And OS2. And, gosh, my cell phone signature still says sent from my 3270 terminal. And if you know what that is, you know. But it's an evolution in the technology, and it's just a new tool set.
Yeah. I think one of the things that is talked about being, entrepreneurs, but maybe not enough, is that adaptability is a skill set, and you have to be able to adapt quickly. You have to be able to
Mhm.
pull in new technology. You need to be able to let
Yeah.
go of old things. And, the conversation around AI stealing my job or AI taking over the world, or there are still people out there who are like, I know when you're using
Good
AI
model.
content, I can see it, and I'll never buy from you. Cool. Bye. Like, see yourself out, because I'm not going to be left behind in the dust, because you are already using AI, whether you know it or not. It's been integrated and built into every platform that you use on
Everything.
the internet, and has been for years. You just were not aware.
And your
You
phone
thought
and everything else.
you thought your phone was spying on you, and you thought Facebook was like, listening into your conversations. No, it's freaking AI, man. Like, it knows shit about us. So it's like, adapt or be left behind. And the same is true in how we have to pivot and evolve with our businesses and our expertise, and grow and constantly be learning
Yeah.
and constantly adding in new opportunities and systems. And, a funnel 5 years ago, when like around the first time I heard what a funnel was like, you have an email system and you have a lead
Mhm.
gen, and you somehow connect the dots maybe a little bit, and
Mhm.
then they're on your email list. Hooray. But like, now funnels are like 82 parts on a good day.
Oh,
That's a chill funnel.
and now you're like, oh crap, we have like all of the AI pieces to funnel. So I use Build Beautiful and sell Build Beautiful. It's my agency and it's built on Go High Level. And the amount of AI that you can leverage to write and customize emails, to answer phones, to respond back to DMs, to do things is vast. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are not taking advantage of the sheer amount of technology available to them to do some of these things and monitor and say, hey, we've got a live one that actually wants some information versus
Another dud that's just signing up for the freebie. Yeah. Yeah.
or another, spammer that's offering to sell me SEO services that I know are never going to work.
Right. Yeah.
Do you need a new website? Cool story, bro.
I love when I get, those pitches in Facebook, and it's like, hi, I'm a VA. And I'm like, okay. And like, do you need my help? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm good. I have AI. Like, and I get the cold messaging is a system that works for some people. I get that it can, open doors. Do your research.
Mhm.
Like, right. Like, I've had people come at me with their title and their pitch being the exact same that's my banner on Facebook. Like, use your eyeballs. Check things before you just start randomly messaging people. Because I'm like, are you for real right now? Are you literally pitching me my own services? This is crazy.
They can't be
But yeah.
bothered. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's I don't know. I guess maybe because my background is from like content marketing, right? Like, I started a lifestyle blog in 2011 that still pays me. I still make money from it. And I was pitching brands for opportunities, right? Like, or I was being pitched to from
Mhm.
brands with opportunities. And like, if they use the wrong name, or like they didn't delete a sentence that was that's customized for the blog before me that they were pitching to, I wasn't going to work with them. I didn't care how good the offer was, because they didn't take the time to check their data or look at their information. I'm not Helen. My name's Jennifer, right? Like, or JJ. Like, if you're pitching to Helen and it lands in my inbox, you immediately get ignored. I don't read any further. So like, just making sure you dot your I's and cross your T's is never a bad thing, right? Striving for excellence. It's a thing I wish more business owners did. It's the thing I wish more business owners did. One of the reasons why I
Striving
love
for
working
excellence
with
is a
you.
thing. Well,
It's one
thank
of the
you.
reasons I love working with you.
And as you know, I'm a little bit maniacal about it.
I do. But for the good
A
of
little bit.
all, it usually works
But,
out to our
really
benefit.
willing to do what it takes right now and deal with the mess and then clean it up and not deal with that problem again.
Yeah. I mean,
And
and
that, my
that's
friend, is why I'm not a perfectionist.
but like, that's how you build systems, right? Like, that's how you create what you need in your business. You mess with things until you figure out what works, or you bring in an expert who can see the gaps and see the opportunities where you can make more money, where you can automate, where you can have a platform like Build Beautiful that allows you to really move faster by having the right foundation. You can't just, I mean, I'm the queen of analogies. I love analogies. I use analogies in everything. But like, if you want it's the tortoise and the hare, right? Like if you want to go far, you go slow. If you want to go faster, you still go slow, because your consistency and moving 1 kilometer or 1 mile, depending on where you live, every single day will far outpace the people that are going 10 kilometers a day and then burning out in a week, right?
Yeah, and the 90 days of consistency and doing it every day for 90 days versus the I'm going to make you 100K in 30 days
Yeah.
promises that you see online. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And oh, you don't actually have to do any work. Our systems are going to automate everything for you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, how does
Sure
that
they
work?
are.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Because in order for a system to automate anything, it has to have the right information. So how does
Right. You
how
have
does
to do
that
some
work?
work with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just basics. It's basics. And I
I'm going to sell you my handy dandy system that you can easily replicate.
let me put you in a box again. Let me help you put yourself in a box again. If there's one thing I've learned, especially because I'm a manifesting generator in human design, I'm a Leo in astrology, and I'm Enneagram 3 wing 4, I think. It's been a minute since I've looked at my Enneagram. Those are my personality types. I'm also a protagonist in I think it's whatever the ENFJ. I'm an ENFJ. That's my facts, my data, apparently, about my personality. But if there's one thing I've learned about being in business is that, like, you have to customize things for yourself. And maybe it's my personality type, maybe it's being a manifesting generator, but like, I don't want to fit into someone else's box. I've worked with coaches that tried to make me do exactly what they did to see their success. And it felt awful. It was the worst experience. I bailed
And it
early
never works.
because it didn't work, but also I didn't feel seen or understood or appreciated for what I was bringing to the table. And I swear to God, this one coach, if she told me one more time that I needed to be doing in-person networking in the middle of COVID, I live in Canada, in the middle of, like, in 2022, there still were not in-person opportunities for literally anything, unless it was the middle of summer and it was outside. But in January of 2022, she was telling me I needed to be doing in-person networking and I would never be successful until I did in-person networking. And like, I stopped listening because that was never going to work for me, because she was trying to fit me into her box.
I'm not the same Enneagram type. I'm an 8. I'm a high D. I'm a Sag, and I'm an INTJ. But if you try to box me,
yeah,
I'm going to rebel.
Yeah. And I think that's human nature. I think that is a little bit human nature, right? Like right. Especially when it comes to entrepreneurs, because if you were content with doing what you were told and living life being told what to do by
somebody else's rules, I would
probably have a corporate 9 to 5. You probably are working retail, or you're doing something 9 to 5 somewhere, and you have a traditional job.
Even
you wouldn't be an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna, if you're an engineer who wants to follow the rules, you're going to stand in a corporate 9 to 5.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
A lot of people think I'm like way more of a rule follower than like my husband, but he works a corporate job.
Yeah.
I don't. Which one of us do you think is a wee bit more chaotic?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In 90 days of consistency. With being self-employed, there's chaos. There is uncertainty. But there's much more
self-direction that has to happen. There's freedom.
Yeah. There's so much more freedom. There's so much opportunity for creativity. There's so much opportunity for expansion. The benefits, in my opinion, far outweigh the risks. But that's for me. Mm-hmm. That's not for anyone. But again, I'm not going to force, my sister who loves her 9 to 5 corporate job to be an entrepreneur just because I'm an entrepreneur. Like, there's no way, right? It's not for her. No. Being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. But if you're an entrepreneur, systems are for you, right? You have to have your systems in place. In order to be expansive and take advantage of opportunities and be creative, we have to have structure in order to let us go be crazy, right? Like
100%.
We have routines, we have things that work for us. I'm fond of a saying that a coach I used to have used, and it was masculine structure to support our feminine flow as female entrepreneurs. We have to have some parameters, some guidelines that allow us to feel safe to be free. And really, at the end of the day, that's the least we can do for ourselves, is create some systems and some support structure in our business that allows us to throw the to-do list out the window at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday and just be like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to go do this and then go do that.
I'm going to go chuck it in the bucket.
Yeah. And just do what actually feels good in our business, because the more we do what feels good in our business, the more successful we're going to be, the more we're going to be consistent because we love what we're doing and we're not burning ourselves out every other weekend. I've been
Well,
there.
and that goes into the 10x is easier than 2x.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're focusing in that one thing that you're super passionate about, not doing 23,000 things, one thing, super passionate about it, you're going to 10x it.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to do, pave the earth and end up burning yourself out, doing everything for everybody, and maybe 2xing it because you're working 80 hours a week and you can't think straight because your brain is totally fried.
Yeah. It's hard to work.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. It's hard to get through those
Got the stamps.
brain fried seasons are challenging, right? So you have to pull back in those times to really hone into the thing that feels easy. And when I talk about easy, right, I talk about ease and flow and business being easy. I don't mean you're not working. I don't mean like you just are manifesting business, right? Like I'm
not just sitting on the couch hoping it's going to happen. No, I'm doing the work.
You're doing
but it's enjoyable work. I enjoy the work I'm doing.
Yeah, it feels good. And you also have, I don't know, implemented some automations that allow some of the busy work to be done for you. And you have some systems that capture your leads effectively and put them into your funnel and let you know like where they're at in your opportunities pipeline. Like,
right.
If you want your business to feel easy and to like actually be free flowing and give you the freedom and the life that you've always dreamed of, you have to do the groundwork. It's 100%. Just, you have to do it.
Well, and a lot of people are like wanting to skip these steps and hire a VA, a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and pay them $4 an hour. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that, to essentially like tell them how to do this stuff. And I'm like, no, you need to sit with some of this stuff. And honestly, like one of my biggest things is, yes, I have the education, I have the MBA, I have an MBA from a top tier university that's in the top 5. But at the end of the day, that didn't absolve me from the need to sit with my own systems, processes, SOPs, and all of my own shit and do the damn work. And as Jennifer knows, we're working through SOPs right now and employee handbooks and all these things. Just because you want to throw money at it, or large amounts of money at it, because a lot of people have, and I have too, doesn't mean you're going to be able to throw money at it and get out of having to do the work. It's still going to be there. It's going to get messed up, and you're still going to have to take that step and come back and do the basic work, whether it's training your GPT, working on your automations, working on your processes, documenting them, and doing the hard part, and actually like blowing your brain out a few times in order to get there.
Yeah. The foundations, there's something to be said for actually understanding how your business works, right? I've worked with people who this was their exit plan from corporate, and they worked their, 6-figure job until their business was paying them well. And it was like, that balance of like their business is a side hustle, they had the corporate job, and then they were able to make that switch. They threw money at their business. They didn't understand how anything worked. And when they went full time into their business and they were in a position where they couldn't keep the contractors because their expenses were outpacing their income at this point, they were pretty much screwed. Like they screwed the pooch on it because they didn't understand how anything in their business worked. They didn't know how to change things in their funnel. They didn't know how to update things on their website because they had just been paying for someone to do that. Now, there's nothing wrong for paying for someone to do things. But if you're going to pay someone to do something, you need to understand how it works. You have to understand how it works, or you're not going to be able to replicate the process if you need to do it on your own or you need to do it on the fly. Because if you're paying someone to do it, chances are they have working hours. And if you need to fix something at 2 a.m., you're not going to be able to get a hold of them to fix it at 2 a.m. Usually.
And this is why I don't sell any services in my own business that I cannot do myself if I had to.
Yeah.
Even badly. And generally I don't sell things I'm bad at. But I had a conversation with a client yesterday, and he's like, oh, I'm sure you're outsourcing all of this stuff. And I'm like, actually, I'm not. It's either me doing it or somebody directly that works for me doing exactly these things. And we're working our way through your stuff. And no, I'm not outsourcing it to a random team.
Yeah.
Because that's actually really dangerous. I've learned in marketing, especially like with a marketing agency, that outsourcing ads management, outsourcing SEO, social media management, any of that stuff, like things that should be your core competencies, if you're outsourcing that stuff, you're just asking for it. I mean, it's like walking around with a kick me target, straight on your back.
Yeah. And you've been burned, I've been burned, right? Like if
And
we've
we've all
been
been
burned,
burned.
you have to imagine that everyone else has with a
Right.
contractor that failed. And I think it's important. Like we are service providers. That's kind of both of our zones
Mhm.
of genius and what we do. As service providers, the only thing we have complete control over is our reputation. And if we
Right.
jeopardize that by making the wrong hiring choice, we either have to own it and make it right. And sometimes that comes at a financial cost if we've dropped the
It
ball for a
frequently does.
client. Yep. Or we have to actually keep things in house and have a little more control over them because that's how we ensure quality. That's how we ensure it aligns with our values. That's how we ensure things are done in a timely manner that meets the deadline. Otherwise, you're just crossing your fingers and hoping you don't screw it up royally. And
Right.
that's too stressful for me. I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life at all.
Well, and there's a lot of companies out there, like in my line of business, that will white label services that I can purchase. I've tried it. I've regretted it. I've ended up losing clients. I've ended up paying 4 times for the same service. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
I can tell you horror stories, plenty of horror stories of messes I've had to then go back and clean up myself at 2 o'clock in the morning and do it.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
It is part of it because, maintaining that reputation, if you, like I said, you
Mhm.
screw that up, you're kind of toast because people talk, people will ask, people will look at, for referrals or ask if they can speak to a client. I started as a VA and I still have done bits and bobs of VA
Yeah.
work depending on the season of life I was in for the last 12 years. And I have a quality reputation as a VA because if I say something's going
Mhm.
to get done, it gets done. If I say I'm going to meet a deadline, I meet the deadline. And you know why I follow through on those things? Because I learned the hard way. I lost a client because I dropped the ball on something really silly, really simple, but because I didn't have a system in place to actually track deadlines very effectively before CRMs were even a thing, right? I had to figure out how to use Trello to do all this stuff. I dropped the ball. I missed
Mhm.
a deadline, and that was like a mistake of my own, and it cost me a good client. But that was my
Had
fault.
that
So I had
happen.
to own it and swallow it. And I did find a way to
And
make
you
it
eat
up to
it.
her. I ate it. It was a bitter pill to swallow because I take pride in the work that I do. Um,
Mhm.
but that was the reality. And that taught me that like I was not going to
Right.
screw this up again. So I have locked in systems that allow
Right.
me to know at a glance what's due and what I need to be working on. And
Mhm.
sometimes that will dictate how late into the night I need to stay up and keep working because I'm not going to drop the ball on a deadline. I did it once, I will never do it again. That was a hard lesson to learn. Business is full of hard lessons, but having a system, having tracking in place, all of that is so key and so important to actually being able to not worry about your business and not worry about your reputation.
Absolutely. And that's where we're at. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because we've been chattering for quite some time now. And we're going to do this again because Jennifer and I love having Jennifer on here. Jennifer, how does somebody go about getting in touch with you? How do they go about finding you?
Yeah, come connect with me on Instagram. I'm the Jennifer Jayne, Jayne. Same on Facebook. Would love to connect. LinkedIn is an option. I go by the Jennifer Jayne pretty much everywhere. So come find me, come hang out with me, and I'm sure Haley will have links in the show notes as well.
Absolutely. I will. And the other thing too is make sure you follow her. Make sure you're following us at Women's Entrepreneur Network everywhere. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you, everybody.